I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon. Turn us to thousands, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon. Turn us to thousands, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
In the slot.
In the fifth, it's 24 for 1. Go on then, Victor.
Well, there's been some talk about the toss importance of in this tournament. So I thought, research is required. Clinical, cold,
unbiased,
statistical, unbiased research. rather than, you know, a clutching onto one's, you know, inclination.
Bhuvneshwar over the wicket bowls, and this has worked very fine. It's coming down below us. Bumrah thought about putting in the dive and then decided against it, and maybe just as well. 28 for 1, 4 more runs to Sri Lanka. 5 overs have now been bowled. Kusal Pereira's got a real move on. He's on 17. Fernando yet to get off the mark.
Well, it's a poor over that for India.
Very poor.
Drop catches. I mean, Kumar will be devastated by that because bowlers like taking wickets. Now then, he looks very grumpy.
Well, he's bowled 3 overs for 28.
Yeah, and he should have had 1 wicket. Now, the trouble is you do all this research and then it always muddies the waters. You don't know what to think. But I can tell you that 24 times the captains who've won the toss have opted to field in this tournament. 17 times have they opted to bat. So we're easily swayed by the last fortnight,
yes,
or last 10 days.
And I think that's probably what it is, isn't it? If we were to sort of break it into periods, you'll find a pattern. Here's Bumrah starting a fresh over, and it's cracked away off the back foot, and once again Ravindra Jadeja, I make that 8 to his credit now. Another sure shot boundary, brilliantly fielded.
He's a terrific fielder. And he'll be enjoying the possibility of actually having a bowl. We've seen him fielding almost constantly in this tournament.
Well, on and off in bits and pieces.
On, I think. And and he's probably, you know, looking forward to having a bat and a bowl as well this time.
Yes, other than in the nets. 2 slips in place for Bumrah. Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Dhoni standing back, goes in, and nicely played by Fernando. Full face of the bat. Comes up to mid-off where it is fielded by Rishabh Pant. There is no run. So Jadeja at backfoot point.
So I need you know, a boffin expert here to interpret. But basically, captains more often than not, they always fielded for the first at least 3 weeks of the tournament. It's only really in the last week or so that everyone's decided to bat. So the notion that it's...
So is there a sort of correlation to the weather and the drier nature of the pitches, do you think?
Well, I haven't had time to research that bit.
Oh, we'll get you...
But there will be.
Jeremy seems to be working on that. So you're in a tag team mode here. Bumrah's in and defensively played out by Fernando. There's no run.
At the start of the tournament, the perception was you field first. It was damper then.
Yes.
The pitches may have been fresher. In the last 8 games, it is true that sides have batted first 7 times. But in the first 7 games, sides, by one occasion, bowled first.
Bumrah into Fernando.
Ooh.
Strikes him on the pad. This looks close. He may have got, and he's given him. He took his time. Did the umpire.
Now they've got to debate. The only issue I suspect is height.
Height, yeah.
But the umpire's call often comes good in this situation. It looked very straight. They've gone
up. 3 seconds left on the clock, and he went up. So Avishka Fernando
from third umpire
has sought the review. Vic Marks's only comment was possibly the height. Remember, the on-field call is out.
Yeah. It's a legal delivery. It always is. I think with Bumrah, he's pretty good on that.
Yeah. Except when it's a Champions Trophy final.
Oh, right. And we're looking at height, and I think it's going to be at worst for India. An umpire's call. We'll see. It hits him on the right leg, the back leg.
The back leg.
Run through the pad,
which is bent.
Yeah, I think it's going to cannon into the stumps.
No bet. Ball tricking when available,
it hits him just above the pad, but his right leg is a bit bent, and it's right close to the stumps.
He's not a very tall man.
Blocker just building ball tricking. Stand by.
No edge. It's a bit
no bat, no bat involved.
Thank you.
Here we go.
Pitching outside off.
Umpire's call or missing?
Missing.
Missing.
Height.
And you were right, Vic.
Well, I not very often am as an umpiring.
Missing, just missing for height.
Just going over the top of the leg stump.
It was a very, very good review, one has to say, now that it's gone in favour of the team reviewing it. And so both sides will retain their review.
I think today's game will be interesting on this toss controversy. in that we have in our own minds, we've got Sri Lanka winning the toss, who you would perceive to be the weaker side here. India, therefore, having to chase later on in the day, which deemed to be a disadvantage at this stage in the competition. But I'd still have my money on India, don't you worry. It'll see whether it whether it changes the balance of this contest, with India having the perceived more difficult task.
Bumrah in now to bowl to Fernando again. Up passes the umpire, bowls nice and full, drives, and he'll get runs here. Might even get 4 because this is lightning fast, the outfield. Yes, I don't think Rishabh Pant's going to get there. So the first runs of Bumrah's bowling, a beautifully driven boundary for Fernando, who gets off the mark, and Sri Lanka go up to 32 for 1. Yes, talking about India and chasing, they had a very tight chase, which of course they fell short of against England. And that has been a challenge for India, as has been, I think, for a few other teams whenever they've had to chase. Last ball of the 6th over coming up is 32 for 1, and Bumrah is going in to bowl to Fernando, having reviewed and successfully reviewed an LBW appeal. Good sharp bouncer that, and a wide signal by the umpire, as you would have had the squaring umpire Gunnar Gould there just indicating to his colleague, and then wide means the ball has to be re-bowled, and an extra run to the Sri Lankan total. 33 for 1 now. It's been a good start without really noticing it. Bhuvaneshwar, of course, being the more expensive by far of the two bowlers. 28 runs of his 3 overs so far, and Bumrah is going in to bowl what could be the last ball of his over. Goes in, bowls, and is defended back to the bowler. Fielded at mid-off. 33 for 1. 6 overs have now been bowled. More thoughts from Vic Marks, and then to come in for the first time this morning will be Fazil Mohammed.
I mean, if I was a spinner for the ICC, a political spinner, which is the last thing I would want to be, I would happily pick up these hard-earned stats and say, look, 24 times they've bowled first, 17 times they've batted first, and you're moaning about the pitches being too swayed in one direction. Get on with it, I'd say. Well, no, I wouldn't say that, because spinners don't say that.
They say different things, don't they? They say a lot of things.
I think you could interpret those stats and say, well, hang on, you can't satisfy everyone, but at the first half of the tournament, it was too... Hang on.
Bumrah, first delivery of a new over, driven away out towards mid-on.
Is that actually when you're in a match that really matters, there is a great bonus in getting those runs on the board, because it's a much more tense affair trying to chase down these runs in a do or die type match.
We don't have a do or die match here, but it is one that certainly India would like to stay on course with their winning streak, as the delivery down the leg side played away towards short fine leg. They're going for the run. He had just been brought into that position from the fine leg boundary, Jasprit Bumrah. He's now going back to the fine leg fence, as that delivery was played straight to him, but they were still able to go for the single. A direct hit might have been struggling Avishka Fernando, who was given out LBW on the field in the previous over, had it reviewed and was shown to be missing, and the Sri Lankan total moves on now to 34 for 1 in the 7th over. Karunaratne, the man gone, caught behind of the bowling of Bumrah for 10. Kusal Perera, as we mentioned, dropped by Kuldeep Yadav behind the bowler, almost like a mid-off, nearly collided with a teammate for a catch that should have been taken very easily. Fernando off the mark with 4 as he waits on the next delivery from Bumrah. Slip backward point at a short point in the captain Virat Kohli. There's a cover and a mid-off as Bhuvaneshwar bowls on off stump to Avishka Fernando, plays it away towards short extra cover, no run.
Moving on from the crucial question of the toss, we will move to cakes. I've got a lovely note from Claire Murphy, and a lovely picture of her too, with Harry and Archie, who I take to be her sons. And she said she's heard Phil Tufnell complaining about the lack of cakes on Wednesday.
Okay, as Bhuvaneshwar bowls on off stump to Fernando. He's driving through the offside. Will get a couple of runs here. Might get 4. It's going on to the practice pitches, speeding away towards the boundary. Diving attempt is in vain from Virat Kohli. as he was racing away to try to pull it back in. In fact, it's Dinesh Karthik trying to make the save, and just as he was trying to pull it back in, as often happens within millimeters of the boundary, his body dragged the ball back over the rope, even as he was going across as well. So a second boundary to Avishka Fernando after his 100 against the West Indies on Monday up at Chesterley Street. So he's certainly feeling good about things, especially after that review when he was first given out, and then the review showed that the ball was missing the stumps from Jasprit Bumrah, and it's now 38 for 1. Bhuvneshwar bowls to him on leg stump, pushed away towards the mid-on, where it's picked up by Hardik Pandya, who was the one who almost got into that collision with Kuldeep Yadav, where that catch was dropped to allow Kusal Pereira to continue. Pereira on 18, Fernando on 8, 38 for 1 with 1 delivery left in the 7th over, and we'll hear a lot more about that kick after that delivery.
You will?
I don't know if it has a worn surface like some of the pitches that are being used for this World Cup. Slip in place. Well, England aren't playing, so it won't be a worn surface. As this is helped away over the top, that's going over long on. Is it going to clear the boundary? No, it pitches and stops. We have had some rain early this morning, but the outfield is generally dry and very quick, but that was played away over the top for a couple of runs for Fernando. End of the over, he's on 10. Kusal Pereira is on 18. Sri Lanka winning the toss and batting first are 40 for 1 after 7 overs.
Well, I need to point out that this is, and it says here, a freshly baked. It's a fresh cake.
So it's for English
orange
use.
Cake.
For English use then, because they don't use worn surfaces. Yeah, you don't want it dry and worn. This is going to
this will be a brilliant cake.
This is going to be
it's a
lovely
Nigella Lawson cake, and it's a family favourite. Watching today's match, our 4th of the Cricket World Cup in the 1863 stand with my boys. If Graham Swan is with you, I'm the woman who pursued him round the ground at Chesterley Street for a selfie. I hate to disappoint you, Claire, but Graham Swan's not here. But I tell you this though, you could catch Jeremy Coney fairly easily.
Won't be a challenge there. 40 for 1 after 7 overs. This is going to be a thoroughly entertaining day, I can tell you. Whether it is on the field, certainly off the field here in the TMS box, as Jasprit Bumrah still looking for his first wicket. In fact, he's gotten the first wicket. He got, of course, Dimuth Karunaratne. It's Bhuvneshwar Kumar at the other end, who should have had the wicket of Kusal Pereira, who's on 18 and on strike now. Some movement behind the bowler's arm, and as you would expect for this fixture, the stands dominated by Indian supporters. They're a mobile economy in their own right, the Indian supporters. Wherever they go around for this World Cup, you see various merchants of sorts and everyone looking to cash in on the presence of the Indian supporters. As Bumrah bowls, jacks back in, appeal for a catch behind. He's walking immediately. Inside edge through to Dhoni, and Pereira departs for 18. Jasprit Bumrah, such a lethal performer for India at the top of the order, jagging back in, taking the inside edge through to Dhoni. Sri Lanka 40 for 2 in the 8th over.
Well, it's a very good delivery and quite a good catch really, because the inside edge is not quite what you expect, but Dhoni took it fairly cleanly. And off Pereira walked. He had that one chance. It won't be an expensive miss now, although Kumar might think so. But Bumrah has been absolutely outstanding in this tournament. We sort of half thought they might rest him because he's so valuable to India, both at the start and also he is brilliant at the end of an innings.
Top of the tree as far as the limited over bowlers.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage of the tournament, I know you're sneaking off home, but we'll all have to pick our team of the tournament at the moment. It'll be quite difficult. I expect we will anyway. But you've got to put Bumrah in this, I think, for certain.
Absolutely. I think he's really led the charge for India.
Yeah. No matter what the nature of the pitch, he is formidable.
He's an outstanding performer. 40 for 2 in the 8th over. The new man is Kusal Mendes, and Avishka Fernando, the batsman there with him on 10. Kusal Mendes yet to get off the mark, and indeed, while all the focus quite obviously would be on India's movement towards the semi-finals. They would have come into this tournament one of the favourites, together with England, who needed those 2 victories, including the one over India, the one over New Zealand, to get into the semi-finals. So they are confirmed for that second semi-final at Edgbaston. It could be a rematch, because with Australia playing South Africa in the later match today, and again we want to remind you that is going to be available on the BBC website, so you're not going to miss any of the action for today's final doubleheader of the Cricket World Cup of 2019. We're here live at Headingley for this encounter between India and Sri Lanka. If India win and Australia don't win, it means that India will take on New Zealand in the first semi-final at Old Trafford. If Australia win, Australia will be playing the first semi-final against New Zealand at Old Trafford on Tuesday.
So a curiosity is that we've only had one dead match in this tournament. I know technically yesterday was not a dead match at Lord's.
As Bumrah bowls to the new man, and he's in behind it carefully. Kusal Mendes playing it back up along the pitch on the onside.
But if it was a dead match, we've got the team to deal with it. We are dead match specialists.
I think this one is going to have more life in it than you could possibly believe, with some of the comments that were being passed before the first ball was bowled. Much of it which can't be said on here, of course. But was West Indies Sri Lanka at Chesterley Street? Wouldn't that count as a dead rubber?
I forgot that one.
Yeah, exactly.
That was so dead.
With the West Indies
did Sri Lanka have a chance? I can't remember.
Delivery on leg stump that's turned away down to long leg for a single by Kusal Mendes to get him off the mark. Fernando back in strike on 10. Sri Lanka 41 for 2. Remember, with the West Indies went out of the reckoning.
Yeah, they went out of the reckoning.
And Sri Lanka were already out of the reckoning at that stage. Yeah, they were.
They could have got 10 points, Sri Lanka.
But they had already. It was already
England hadn't played.
It had already been determined that England had more wins. He had more wins.
So you're the dead match specialist.